Bernadette Brown's Nganilau. I'm a deposed parliamentarian and a very rabid member of civil society, and have been for the past 40 years or so. I enjoy my life. I am a widow with a little girl, with a young lady, my daughter, and we just do what we can to ensure that we keep our society, our community safe and in a place where our young can prosper, as I have so much faith in the next generation.
My name's Aman. I'm 23 years old.
And I heard about nuclear weapons when I was a young girl. We had nuclear activity in the Pacific in the 1950s, the early 1950s, and my late husband's father was in charge of the Christmas Island project. He was a member of the Fiji battalion, and the British came here to do their experiments, and they were all dressed in asbestos clothing from the top to the bottom, and my father-in-law and the other soldiers were wearing singlets, shorts and sunglasses for protection. I wasn't aware of who he was at the time, but I do know and recall my father talking about it, and they were questioning whether it was a good thing or not. I don't think we ever knew how dangerous and how life-threatening it would be. And then later on in life, when I was on radio, I left radio because I interviewed the NFIP, Nuclear Free and Independent Pacific head, Lopet Senduli, and I was asking him all these questions, and I was hearing things I had never heard on radio, I never saw on the news, because they were an NGO who was interested in the Mururoa Atoll and the activities in French Polynesia. And I realized I'm in the wrong place. This is the right time, I'm in the wrong place. I resigned from a very lucrative and a good job on radio to pursue my interest in the NGO community, and that's where I began to blossom. And we're now looking at 40 years down the line. We can only do what we can do. We can't jump out there and be in the midst of the activity because there needs to be noise going on in another place, like the dissemination of information. So I was very pleased that I was part of that group of just sending out information, interviewing people on what nuclear activity actually meant and how dangerous it was. We were disseminating information from the Marshalls and from Micronesia about jelly babies, and I was also very fortunate to be invited by UNIFEM in Australia to do a tour of Australia, a speaking tour on March the 8th, some years back, and I talked about what was the story beneath paradise, and that's a very famous poem and story that Tina Takashi from Micronesia had written many years ago. And I talk often about the story beneath paradise to ensure that people do know that it's not all sun, sand, surf, beaches, and beautiful food and beautiful people. There is also another story. So I'm quite aware, and I am also disappointed that we are still in this place. But we've got very dynamic young people. Sharon Rolls is just amazing. She's the 1325 Queen. She's the Queen of Peace. And she's part of prayers as well, because we know Mary is the Queen of Peace. Sharon is the Pacific's Queen of Peace. And it's because of these very dynamic young people, and I'm very happy to say women, that this issue is kept alive. We know what is happening, and we know what can we do to lobby to ensure that our voices are heard. It's not just a whisper, but many whispers, which makes a large shout. And I just thank you and salute you all for the work you do.
I did a lot of projects regards to the effects and basically the usage of nuclear weapons in the Pacific when I was a kid. And I guess that's how I actually started out having a foremost interest with the current and future effects on climate in any sort of way.
You know, I'm so surprised in this day and age of technology, in this day and age of intense education. We are so educated so that we should be well in every sense. Our bodies should be well because we know how to treat diseases. Our environment should be perfect because we know what to do. And any thought of nuclearization should not even be on the agenda, but we pursue it. Why? We have seen what has happened in the past. We have seen the suffering of people, particularly in small island states like us, because everything is downwind. We are dumped with everything. And even if testing is done, testing is usually done in a very isolated, solitary place, like the Pacific Ocean or in the middle of a desert. But it's the people who are not able to help themselves that are suffering. We need to stop this. We know more than we did in the 60s, in the 50s, and that's when I first heard about it, and of course it was happening in the 40s. But why do we pursue it? Why? Can we do more to stop this? I think it's deplorable. It's death. Nuclearization to me is equal to death. So if we are hurrying on our demise, if we are not happy to live in this beautiful planet of ours, then that's what we are accepting, if we accept nuclear or nuclearization. So please stop and use this day of peace to send the word out, particularly from our beautiful islands of Fiji and the region of the Pacific and Oceania. We don't want any activity here. We don't want it anywhere in the world. We are beautiful as we are, and we need to use what we have learnt to make ourselves even better. We're going the other way. Please think, just think about it all.
Ban on nuclear weapons. So the thing is, nuclear explosions, nuclear disaster does not happen on a small scale. It is always on a larger scale that has rebounding effects on everybody's health, on the environment, on basically every part of the society you could think of. Because it's not only about us, it's about the whole world. I mean, all it takes is somebody pushing a button that destroys half the world, and most of the time we don't really think about what we're doing. So in a way, I think that we should be following in the steps of South Africa, who deactivated their nuclear program back in 2009, 2010, and yeah, I mean, that's one of my biggest reasons for going with the No Nukes campaign.